At the beginning of the story, a girl named Kylie turns off the faucet with her feet and leans back in the bathtub with her headphones on. She doesn't realize that a slimy alien slug is slowly moving toward her. As soon as she sees it, she lets out a blood-curdling scream. The slug leaps onto her back and tries to force its way into her mouth. If it had managed to get inside, it would have taken control of her mind. Kylie fights with all her strength and manages to pull it out of her mouth at the very last second. She quickly gets dressed and runs in search of help. However, her mother has already been infected and lies in the middle of a pool of blood. At that moment, her sister starts screaming. The slugs have spread throughout the entire house. Kylie kicks down the bedroom door, but it is already too late. Her sisters are already infected. More slugs enter the room, but Kylie manages to reach the balcony. However, the entire second floor is filled with monsters. With no way out left, she jumps down. Just as she tries to get up to run, her father falls right before her eyes. Behind her, the slugs advance like a wave. Kylie immediately gets into the car, but there are no keys inside. Helpless, she watches as the slugs begin to climb all over the vehicle. After a long while, she finally feels that she is safe. But at that moment, she sees something even more terrifying. Her family, somehow, has come back to life. They no longer look human. The slugs have full control over their bodies. In just one night, the townspeople have turned into the walking dead. What is going on here? The main story begins in South Carolina, in a small, quiet town named Wheelsy. The annual deer hunting festival is about to start, so many tourists are expected to arrive. Starla is a young, beautiful town teacher. When she teaches, students can't even focus on their studies, and even after class ends, other teachers look for any excuse to talk to her. Suddenly, a man arrives and takes her away by force. That man is Grant, Starla's husband. Although he has a rough and strict appearance, he deeply loves Starla. One night, they have an argument about their relationship. Filled with rage, Grant leaves the house and heads straight to the local bar. There, a woman approaches him and starts talking to him. Looking closely at her, Grant realizes she is Brenda, the younger sister of his ex-girlfriend, whom he hadn't seen in 10 years. As they drink and chat, they walk toward a nearby forest. Brenda had always felt something for Grant, and they begin to kiss passionately, but Grant stops at the last moment. He thinks of his wife Starla and says that if he stays out any longer, she will worry. Suddenly, a small asteroid falls from the sky and impacts the forest near him. Upon striking the ground, the object opens up and releases a strange, organic sac. Driven by curiosity, Grant touches it with a branch. Immediately, a sharp tentacle shoots out and plunges straight into his chest, introducing an alien creature into his body. Brenda screams Grant's name in terror, but her shock is even greater when Grant stands back up. Now he looks like a living corpse and completely ignores Brenda's voice, walking away from the forest without saying a word. Shortly after, Grant arrives at his house. As soon as he enters, he takes all the raw meat out of the refrigerator and starts building a strange nest out of leaves in the basement. The next morning, he hears music coming from the living room. There he sees Starla wrapped in her bathrobe. As he approaches, she slowly takes it off to reveal her lingerie, making it clear that she wants to put last night's fight behind them. However, Grant is already under the control of the alien parasite, although a few tears stream from his eyes, showing that his human side has no way to warn Starla. Then, Starla notices a strange wound on Grant's body. Later at school, Starla's co-workers notice how happy and radiant she looks. Excitedly, she tells them that her husband is acting like a completely different person. On the other hand, Grant is at the supermarket looking with hungry eyes at the raw meat in the freezer and ends up buying all the meat in the store. When Starla returns home, she sees that the basement entrance is locked with a padlock. Grant tells her it is a surprise for her birthday, and even though it is still 2 months away, Starla suspects nothing. Soon, the creature inside Grant begins to grow desperate, as raw beef is not enough to satisfy its hunger. The neighbor's dog starts barking at him, and Grant stares at it intently. That night, Grant's body begins to mutate even more horrifically as his hunger increases. Starla is showering and getting ready for the hunting festival's opening party. Under the parasite's control, Grant slowly approaches from behind and extends 2 slimy tentacles, but upon seeing Starla's innocent face from the side, the love he feels for her prevents him from attacking her. Unable to harm Starla, Grant turns around and goes straight to Brenda's house. She is shocked to see him, as she thought he had died in the forest that night. However, Grant doesn't respond. He takes off his shirt and reveals 2 horrific tentacles sprouting from his stomach. Brenda has no chance to escape. The tentacles rip her body open and inject thousands of alien eggs inside her. Meanwhile, Starla is left waiting for Grant at the party, but he never arrives. In his place, Bill, the town's police chief, approaches her. The atmosphere between them becomes somewhat awkward, as they had been boyfriend and girlfriend in the past. Starla's dream was to go to Hollywood, while Bill decided to stay and become a police officer, which led to their breakup. Sometime later, when Starla fell into financial trouble, Grant, a wealthy man, helped her, and they eventually married. When Starla returns home after the party, she finds the living room completely in the dark. Grant looks very different. His body is swollen and deformed. He lies to her, saying a bee stung him and that he already brought medicine from the doctor. The next day his condition does not improve, so Starla calls the doctor out of concern, discovering to her shock that the doctor hasn't seen Grant all year. It was obvious that Grant was lying to her, which fills Starla with deep anxiety. Later, she notices that many of the town's pets have gone missing. That same night, Bill goes to her house and they both discover that Brenda has mysteriously disappeared. Someone saw Grant going to her house, and there were signs of a struggle. Grant becomes the main suspect, but Starla refuses to believe her husband is capable of such a thing. Bill leaves her his card and asks her to call him immediately if she sees Grant. After Bill departs, Starla's distress grows. Gathering her courage, she breaks down the basement door, from which an unbearable foul stench emerges. Going down, she sees the remains of animal hides hanging. Grant had stripped their meat and bones to feed Brenda. Terrified, Starla tries to call Bill, but turning around, she sees Grant watching her from the window. Starla screams and tries to flee, but Grant easily catches her. Seeing the terror on Starla's face, Grant's tentacles sprout from his chest again to turn her into the host for his offspring. At that moment, Bill hears the screams and bursts into the house. Knowing he cannot win this fight, Grant flees the scene, leaving Starla safe. Grant's condition creates serious problems for the town mayor, as tourists are arriving in droves for the festival, and if the news leaks out, everyone will flee in terror. Because of this, the mayor orders Bill to capture Grant as soon as possible. According to the investigation, all the missing animals were near a ranch, which means Grant is gathering deer there. Bill decides to set a trap for him at the ranch that very night. As the police prepare to leave, Starla blocks Bill's path. She assures him that she didn't marry Grant for money, but because she truly loved him and feels he is just sick. She begs Bill not to kill him, arguing that the only way to save Brenda is to take him alive. With no other choice, Bill allows Starla to join the mission. That night, the police and several local hunters surround the ranch. Out of the darkness, a tentacle-covered shadow appears. It is Grant. With a single strike from one of his tentacles, he kills a bull instantly. While Bill plans his next move, Starla steps forward and calls his name, holding on to the hope of convincing him to surrender. At that moment, a hunter loses his patience and threatens Grant. The next second, the hunter's body is sliced in two. Bill orders them to open fire, but despite his massive size, Grant dodges the bullets with ease and disappears into the brush. Everyone follows him until they reach a small house where Brenda is held captive. Entering, they are horrified by the scene. Brenda's body is grotesquely swollen and deformed. Unable to recognize anyone and suffering from a voracious hunger, she tearfully begs them to feed her the rats on the floor. Before they can digest the shock, Brenda's body begins to inflate rapidly until it explodes like a balloon, releasing thousands of alien slugs. Luckily, Bill reacts in time and covers Starla's mouth to prevent the parasites from entering her. However, the rest of the town isn't so lucky. A swarm of slugs enters the ranch owner's house and infects his entire family, leaving Kylie as the sole survivor, who ended up trapped in the car surrounded by her infected family members, as seen at the beginning. Bill rescues the officers who had been knocked unconscious and loads them into the patrol car. Since there is no signal in the woods, he steps away for a moment to call for backup on the car radio. But as soon as he leaves, the infected officers stand up and begin speaking with Grant's voice. It turns out that all the creatures are connected to a hive mind controlled by the primary host. They try to convince Starla to join their great evolution. With no bullets left in her gun, Starla has no choice but to run. Bill returns just in time to save Kylie from the monsters in the car. Together they escape at top speed, and along the way, they run into Starla and the mayor, who were coming out of the woods. Bill takes them to a safe place and contacts police headquarters by radio, requesting a heavy weapons unit. However, the slugs have already reached the station, and the operator is infected right as she hangs up. Kylie explains to them what she was able to see through the slug's memories. Everything that gets infected becomes part of Grant. His ultimate goal is to devour every living being on Earth. The only way to stop the plague is by killing Grant, the original host, which will trigger the simultaneous death of all the slugs and monsters. Suddenly, The patrol car crashes. By the time Bill regains consciousness, the infected have surrounded them. With no time to pull out Starla, who is still unconscious, Bill takes Kylie to the police station to get grenades and blow Grant up. On the other hand, Starla is taken back to her house. Strangely, the creatures do not harm her. Instead, they bathe her and dress her in elegant clothes. The next morning, when she opens her eyes, she is in her bedroom. If it weren't for the chilling noises outside the room, she would think it was all a nightmare. Knowing it won't be easy to escape, she hides a sharp hairpin in her hands to defend herself. At that moment, her favorite song starts playing. Stepping out into the hallway, Starla sees that the walls are lined with photographs of her. It was the birthday surprise Grant was preparing for her. Starla's eyes fill with tears, but upon reaching the living room, she comes face to face with a terrifying sight. Grant has transformed into a giant mass of demonic flesh. Grant extends his tentacles, grabs Starla, and tries to absorb her into his body. It is at that moment that Starla finally understands that her real husband died, and the creature in front of her is just an alien using his memories. Keeping her composure, Starla begins to fondly recall beautiful moments from their past together. This causes the creature to lower its guard, a moment Starla seizes to plunge the hairpin into it with all her strength. Furious, Grant hurls her across the room. At that instant, Bill arrives with a grenade in hand, but before he can throw it, Grant knocks it away. Bill desperately searches for the grenade, but upon finding it, Grant attacks him again and knocks it far off. The grenade falls into the pool and detonates. Grant's tentacles surge toward Bill. He manages to grab one, but another pierces his stomach and begins rapidly injecting eggs. In his final effort, Bill spots a nearby propane tank. Using all his strength, he hooks the tentacle onto the tank's valve and wrenches it open. Propane gas begins to rapidly fill Grant's body through the tentacle. Grant senses the danger, but Bill holds the tentacle firmly so it cannot detach. Starla picks up a handgun from the floor, looks directly into the eyes of what was once her husband, and without hesitation, pulls the trigger. Instantly, Grant's body bursts into flames and detonates in a massive fireball. With the death of the primary host, all the slugs and infected in the town drop dead simultaneously. Except for the 3 survivors, there is no one left alive in the entire town.